Hello. So today's live I've called All Things Thanksgiving because it is a couple of days before Thanksgiving and I wanted to get together with everyone that's going to be jumping on and have a really good chat about what you're doing on Thanksgiving, share some tips that I share. I'm going to share a few tips and a few ideas of what you can do over Thanksgiving to stay on track. And these are some of the things that I work with my clients on in my coaching program. Welcome everyone that's getting on. So all things Thanksgiving. In Australia, we don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We have one island actually called Norfolk Island that's part of Australia that does celebrate Thanksgiving. And we have our own national holiday called Australia Day, but that's earlier in the year. So welcome everyone that's jumping on, all Thanksgiving. Now, before I get into some strategies on how to stay on track over Thanksgiving, I would love to hear from people that are on the live. What have you got planned? What does Thanksgiving look like for you? Is it a big family dinner or lunch on one day? Do you have guests or people staying with you? Are you traveling to other people to celebrate, family members, friends? What does Thanksgiving look like for you? Because it's going to look different for different people. How many days does it go for? I'd love to know a little bit more about that as well. How many days do you celebrate Thanksgiving for? Do you really put it and make a really big holiday of it, or are you working around the day of Thanksgiving? So I'd love to know more about that. So anyone that wants to share, that would be wonderful. And thank you so much, everyone, for jumping on and waving hello. So I'm going to talk about 3 different ideas, strategies, tips that you can do over Thanksgiving to stay on track. Now, I like to keep things simple. And what I mean by that is often when you're going after weight loss surgery and you're going into a holiday period, you can feel a bit overwhelmed. People can feel quite stressed about staying on track and not being tempted and think that they have to do X, Y, Z and be perfect and all of that. And I want to really debunk that and talk about how you can keep things really simple and be confident that you're going to stay on track. So welcome the people that are just jumping on now. What I did right in the beginning was I've asked people to share, what does Thanksgiving look like for you? And I've also shared any Aussies that are on or people in other parts of the world. You may not be celebrating Thanksgiving this week, but that's okay because we still can learn from what we're talking about because it's about how do you manage a holiday period. So in Australia, we generally have one day, it's a national holiday, and it's all about family and friends on that day. But people often put a little bit of holiday around it, but it doesn't go on for too long. What does Thanksgiving look like for anyone that's on if you'd like to share? So, okay, now I have a coaching program, and in my coaching program, I work with clients on achieving their goals, no matter where they are before or after their surgery. And so when we're going through a period like this and big holiday celebrations come up, we're really looking at, we can set a plan and I coach them going through that holiday period and being really confident. So I'm going to share 3 tips that you can do. And this relates to some of the information that I have talked about in my podcast. And I can't remember the episode number, but if you're not aware, I have a podcast as well. So the first thing I want to talk about is over your holiday period is keep your eating schedule regular. So does anyone on here know why I would be mentioning this first? Any ideas? I'd love to hear any comments or questions or any comments or thoughts of why I talk about eating schedule over a holiday period. Anyone that's used to my lives, or if you have any other questions, even if they're not related to exactly what I'm talking about, to definitely put them in there. So no one has mentioned anything yet. So I talk about eating regularly over a holiday period because often it's the first thing to go. People lose structure in their eating, they get busy, they do things, they forget to eat, and then it's so much easier to overeat. It's so much easier to reach for more of the discretionary foods. So what we want to do over the holiday period is keep a regular eating schedule. And many people will talk to my clients about putting reminders on their phones and having things in their environment that remind them to eat regularly. So that's number one. People that are on now, do you find when you leave your working schedule, go on holidays or do anything, do you find that your eating schedule goes out? I would love to hear if anyone relates to that, but it's very common. So the second strategy tip that I work on with my clients when we're over a holiday period, we make sure we've got reminders to eat regularly, is we want to keep something in front of our mind about protein first. So even if we're going to a celebration dinner or lunch or afternoon tea, we are looking at, okay, here is my plate. This is what I'm going to eat. We want a good half of that to be protein. Then on the other side, you can have some of your treat foods. There's often foods that you have just at certain times of the year, your celebration foods. And we're not going to approach your holidays and think, well, I can't have any of that, because what do you want all the time, or what are you going to think about? You're going to feel deprived, you're going to feel restricted. So you're at a meal, a lunch, a morning tea, a breakfast, an afternoon tea, whatever it is, and I know that's a very English way of saying an afternoon tea, an afternoon get-together. You want to have your plate and you want to say, okay, this is what I'm going to eat. This is what, put on what you want to eat. Half of it lean protein, and the other half are those foods that you really love and that you really enjoy and are your celebration foods, okay? And then you have 2 bites of lean protein for roughly every 1 bite of other, okay? So we're going to keep protein there and protein first, but we're also going to have some of that other food and really enjoy every bite. And there's no guilt. There's no, I'm off track. This is all just part of filling in and finding balance and really enjoying that event, okay? So that strategy is a really good one to help you feel like you're still getting some of that lovely celebration food, but also getting some protein in there. We want protein in there because often the celebration food is not high protein, it's higher carbohydrates and higher fat. Won't sustain you for as long as protein food. So we want to make sure we're getting some of that protein food. So you have your plate, even if it's a buffet style, even if it's a pick and eat as you go, we still want to say, okay, now it's my time to eat. I'm going to get a plate and I'm going to put on my plate what I'm going to eat at this event, because it helps you keep track of what you're eating, okay? So any questions on this so far, or any thoughts or comments, let me know. I'm very happy to have comments and questions. Well, if you're used to my lives, you might be new to my lives. Yeah, if anyone's new to my lives and never been on one, just put new. That'd be lovely to know. So the third tip and the third strategy I have, and it really links in actually with the first one, keeping your regular eating, is to keep up your regular activity. And moving your body is such a good thing to do over the holidays, because you're going to be resting, you're going to be out of schedule, but your body regularly is really important, and it's great. It helps with stress. And a lot of people do find the holidays can be quite stressful. It helps with stress, it helps with sleep, it helps manage negative thoughts. It helps keep you connected to your body, moving your body and not kind of moving into your head and thinking everything like I'm off my plan. Keeping connected. And what I mean by that is you still can be working towards your goals, you're still looking after yourself, you're still in self-care mode, which is what I talk a lot about with my clients, still in self-care mode. Over the holidays, you find it, you're working on how do I practice finding balance even over the holidays and staying on track. It is not about being on a diet after weight loss surgery. I'm really passionate about that. I work with my clients about changing their mindset, leaving the dieting mindset, finding balance and not being on or off. And people can often move into their holiday period and say, okay, I'm off plan. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do over the holidays and then I'll get back on plan, back on whatever. And that is a dieting mindset. We are wanting to move into a healthy eating, balance, mindful eating, which is around foods. Different foods can fit. You can celebrate. You can keep balance. You can still be looking after yourself over the holidays. It might look slightly different. You might not be moving your body quite as much. You might not be going to this. If you're traveling, you might be walking. Whereas when you're at home, you're doing an exercise class. It can look a bit different, but it's still self-care, okay? So they are the 3 things I'm sharing of some of the things that I work with my clients on going into holiday periods. and going into celebration periods, no matter what they look like, even if they aren't Thanksgiving. Keeping regular eating schedule, protein first, and moving your body. And if you can only focus on one thing to do over your holiday period, just do that. It's not about doing everything, it's about just doing one thing. So before I wrap up, any questions and any topics that you would love to talk to me about, even if it's on a different topic than what I've been talking about, please let me know. If you would like to know more about my coaching and support, please pop in the comments bootcamp and you will receive my program video. It automatically will go to you and it's just over 7 minutes long, and I share, it's a bit of a sneak peek into my coaching program. So please put bootcamp in even now, or if you're listening to the replay, you just pop it into the comments and you'll receive my program video. Thank you so much for being on, everyone that's been on, and thank you for being part of my Instagram community. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a lovely Thanksgiving, no matter what it is for you, and I will be back next week. Bye for now. Thank you. Wonderful. Oh, I'm just about to say goodbye. Rubber heart stamps. Beautiful. I will send that to you. Or if you just put the word boot camp, one word, into the comments, you should receive it automatically, because technology, I am over 50, but I am embracing technology slowly, and there's a way that we can automatically send it to you, which is wonderful. So if you don't do that, I am going to send it to you anyway. I can do that manually. So thank you so much. Lovely. I hope everyone has a lovely evening. Beautiful, lovely evening, lovely morning, lovely afternoon, no matter where you are. Okay, bye for now.